on the road again. Like a band of gypsies, we roll down the highway. We're the best of friends, insisting that the road keep turning our way, and our way is on the road again. Hey guys, and thanks for tuning in. So I was originally going to do this update on our stream, and it unfortunately didn't do very well, and we didn't get a lot of interest, which is probably mostly my fault, but anyways, I was going to talk about kind of the itinerary for the road trip I have planned. So I've decided that let's just make a video about it. I had all this stuff prepared, so we're going to go over the itinerary, talk about the trip, talk about new credits, talk about stuff I'm going to get. It's going to be a really fun time, so here we go. Holiday Road. Holiday Road. Alright, so in the next week I'm going to be going on the longest coaster road trip of my life, and it's going to be a full driving road trip. I'm going to be hitting up a bunch of new parks, starting with Six Flags Darien Lake, Waldameer, Kennywood, Kings Island, Kentucky Kingdom, Holiday World, Stricker's Grove, and ending at Cedar Point. It's going to be a long marathon trip, 8 different parks over 10 days, I believe. And it's all going to be driving. Like, I'm going to be meeting people at parks throughout basically the whole trip, but I'm going to be basically driving the whole time. And this isn't presented in chronological order, by the way, so just so you're aware, I wanted to kind of keep the full itinerary a bit on the down low, but I do definitely want to talk about it, so it'll be fun. It's going to be like 1,500 miles of driving, and it's going to be a big test of my endurance, but there's a lot of cool stuff coming, because pretty much most of these parks are parks that I haven't been to yet. So we'll start off with Six Flags Darien Lake. So this was originally not even on the docket. I wasn't actually gonna go because it's a little bit out of the way, but my friend offered to drive there from Waldameer, so I figured, yeah, why not? The main thing I'm excited about at Six Flags Darien Lake, as you'd probably be unsurprised about, is Viper, of course, the 1982 Arrow Looper, which I've heard from people is one of the better Arrow Loopers remaining, which means I'm going to love it. Really cool layout. It has the first, not the first Batwing, but it's got a great loop, really cool Batwing, and a nice slow double corkscrew that probably gives a lot of hang time. Very excited about Viper. Also Ride of Steel, which is a bit of a meme. I've been on the Six Flags America Ride of Steel a lot, so I'm excited to kind of compare the two. I'm sure this one will be better, given that it has like the T-bars and not any of the weird stuff, and it's actually like over some terrain, so the weird sections of straight track make a little bit of sense compared to other choices. I'm trying to see if there's a... Yeah, look at that. See? The straight track almost makes sense there. Almost being the keyword. Ride of Steel is just a very funny ride. It's very entertaining and has surprisingly good moments, so I'm excited to ride it. Beyond that, there's Predator, which I think is going to be really interesting to ride with the new Titan track. I'm curious to see how it is. I know people don't have the highest opinions of this ride, but I'm very curious to see how the Titan track rides and how it compares to the rest of the ride, because I'm sure the rest of the ride won't compare nearly as favorably. Then we just have a standard Boomerang. The Motor Coaster looks pretty fun. I tried to ride its clone at Coney Island, but it was unfortunately closed, so that didn't happen. And then Tantrum, you know, fun little basic Gerstlauer, you know what you're getting into there. Darien Lake's gonna be cool. Like I said, I mostly care about Viper at this point, but it'll be a fun trip to visit for my first time. From there, we're gonna go to Waldameer. And Waldameer, you know, the reason you go to Waldameer is for Ravine Flyer 2, right? Like, Ravine Flyer 2 looks utterly insane. I know a lot of people have very high opinions of this ride, and I'm excited to find out for myself, because, I mean, the layout looks awesome, the presentation looks awesome, and it seems like the forces really deliver. So Ravine Flyer 2 is going to be awesome. Let's not forget about Ravine Flyer 3, though, of course. The classic kiddie coaster. I love when they do this. I love when parks do this, like Little Phantom, like that sort of thing. It looks like a worse version of Cosmos Curves, but honestly, I might grab the credit. We'll see. From there, there's just like the Family Comet Coaster. I mean, there's not much else at Waldameer besides, like, you know, a Mauer Spinner. And they have a Larson Drop Tower, and those are really good, so that'll be cool. But Ravine Flyer 2 is definitely the main reason I want to go. But it's worth the trip alone, basically, from what I've heard from everyone saying. It's worth going to Waldameer alone just for Ravine Flyer 2, so that'd be great. Now, I've been to Kennywood before, and I loved Kennywood, actually, so I'm excited to go back to Kennywood. The only credit I don't have at Kennywood is this guy, and I'm not going to be getting that credit again, for obvious reasons, so It's mainly going back because I like Kennywood and I enjoy it, and I'm really excited for night rides on Phantom. So I didn't get night rides on Phantom last time I went because the park closed a little bit early. I'm very excited to dive down this ravine in the pitch black and get just an absolutely crazy ride. Phantom's great. If you aren't aware, I made a very long video about it. I'm a big fan of the ride, so that's the main reason I'm going back to Kennywood. But obviously they have great coasters besides that. I think Thunderbolt is one of the most underrated woodies out there. It's absolutely spectacular, has great airtime, great laterals, a really cool and unique layout. Jackrabbit, the double down, everyone talks about the double down for a good reason, and Little Phantom. How can you not love this ride? It's a classic. So yeah, oh, Snoopy Soapbox Racers. Kings Island I've been to. But I do have a major omission that I missed last time, because last time I went a day after the Bat derailed, and I was absolutely heartbroken over this because the Bat was one of my most anticipated credits. The Big Bad Wolf was my first roller coaster ever, so I have a very sentimental attachment to all these Arrow Suspendeds, and the Bat looks to be one of the best of them still remaining, so I'm really excited to ride this. I think it's going to be a great ride, and I can't wait. But obviously Kings Island has a stacked lineup, and we will get a fun little kitty boomerang credit while we're there, Snoopy's Soapbox Racers. So there's never a bad trip at Kings Island. I think Diamondback is one of the best B&M hypers out there. I'm excited to try Orion again. I thought it was, you know, a little weak for a Giga, but a weak Giga is still a Giga, spectacular ride. Mystic, it's good, obviously. And then we have the Beast. And a Beast night ride, I think, is worth every bit of the hype. It's a really... It doesn't feel like a roller coaster experience. It's like a scenic railway on steroids, and I love it. It's worth the hype for the night ride. It really is. Special place. But then we have Kentucky Kingdom, which is a park that I've never been to before. And I'm sad because if it still existed, I would have been able to make T3 my 200th credit. And that would have been very special, because 100 was the Mind Eraser at Six Flags America, and I'm trying to make it the goal to make my milestone credits as funny/crappy as possible, so T3 would have been pretty much perfect for that, but it's unfortunately gone, so I guess we'll have to pick, like, the roller skater or something like that. Or, well, we'll talk about what the option is besides that. But yeah, Kentucky Kingdom, Lightning Run is probably what I'm most excited about. I've never been in a Chance Hyper GTX, obviously, because there's only one. And it seems to be an insane layout, great airtime, really compact ride. And Storm Chaser, I'm sure, is great too. I mean, you can't go wrong with an RMC. I've been on plenty of RMCs at this point, so I think I'm going to know what I'm getting. But that's why I'm a little more excited for Lightning Run, but I think it'll be cool. And I've heard good things about Thunder Run too. And if it's one of the better Dinwoodies remaining, I think that'd be nice to get as well. So I'm excited for Kentucky Kingdom. I think it'll be cool. Definitely a park that I've never been to before, and it'll be a unique experience. But from there, we go to Holiday World. And this is, if I did the math correctly, where I should get my 200. And you know, there's obvious answers for 200, but my plan is good gravy. I mean, come on, how can you not? Look at this masterpiece of a ride. Look at this incredible theming. Look at these, like, gravy ladle themed cars with the lead car, a little bit of gravy coming out. It's a masterpiece. I'm so excited for this. And it won't even be my first kitty boomerang, so I'll probably ride the one at Kings Island before, but I might not. But regardless, I already have a sign planned out. Gonna make a little sign. Gonna carry that in front of good gravy, and that'll be great. But yeah, I mean, Holiday World is stacked, obviously. The Legend, the Raven, Thunderbird, and of course, like, the Big Daddy, the Voyage. And I've never been on the Voyage, and I know a lot of people talk very highly about this ride, so I'm excited to see if it lives up to the hype. I don't expect it to be in my top 10 because, you know, I'm not a massive wood coaster fan, but I'm excited to see where it actually ends up. But at the same time, like, I remember being a kid and watching, like, this VHS tapes of, like, the Raven and Legend at Holiday World and being like, wow, this place in Santa Claus, Indiana looks so cool. So I'm excited to kind of do a little childhood wish fulfillment. From there, we have Stricker's Grove. We just happened to overlap with the day, one of the few days that Stricker's Grove is actually open to the public, and that'll be cool. I don't have very high expectations. I just want to get the credits so I can kind of stunt on other people and say I've been to Stricker's Grove. They have Tornado, which is a very basic, out and back, old school Woody PTC. And then they have Teddy Bear, which is just such a cute little ride. Look at the little trains. It's like 20 feet tall. And the little blue track. It's adorable. So that'll be fun. And then finally, we're going to end at Cedar Point. And I don't have any new credits here. I don't need any new credits here besides like the Wild Mouse, which, yeah, I guess I'll get the Wild Mouse. Obviously, there's a big omission that I'm not going to hit. Oh well. Even though Top Thrill 2 is not going to open, I still don't understand why it's in the operating roller coasters thingy when it hasn't been operating for a while. But even if Top Thrill 2 is closed, we still have My Baby, the namesake for the channel. We still have Gemini, great, very underrated ride. Blue Streak, great, underrated Woody. Maverick, amazing. Millennium Force, amazing. Criminally underrated at this point. One of the best rides out there, in my opinion. Raptor, which is one of my favorite B&M inverts. Great ride. And of course, Steel Vengeance, which is my number 3. I know I talk a lot about Arrows, but like Steve is still my number 3. I adored this ride, and I'm excited to go back. I think it's still a masterpiece. I was gonna say all these years later, but what, it came out like 6 years ago. So, I never have a bad time at Cedar Point, and I don't really care about Top Thrill 2 not being open. Sure, it'd be cool to have gotten the credit, but I'm sure when I come back in a couple of years, or whenever I come back next, it's gonna be open, and I'll get the credit, and it'll be another great addition to Cedar Point. But there's so many great rides at the park. It's still, even without Top Thrill 2, probably the best park in the country for roller coasters, so I'm excited for it. I can't wait. And that'll be the end of the road trip. I'm gonna be with a bunch of friends. It's gonna be a good time. So yeah, that's my road trip itinerary. Like I said, it's like 8 parks in like 10 days, I believe. It's gonna be really ambitious, and I'm gonna be pushing myself, but I think it's gonna be a really cool opportunity, and I hope this goes well. And if this does go well, I think this will be a good blueprint for future road trips to parks kind of all around the country. I definitely have a lot of parks that I do want to visit, as I've gone through pretty much all the ones that are in my immediate vicinity. And so I'm excited to kind of branch out and continue to expand my credit count. Well, thank you for watching. Again, I know this is really off the cuff because I wasn't planning on doing this as a video. I was planning on doing this on stream, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're interested. I'm going to share updates as I go. So my plan is I'm going to pretty much record a video at every single park we go to. There's going to be like an overarching vlog, like a kind of serious vlog that isn't like a Coaster Roast style. And I think I'm going to do Coaster Roast for pretty much every park. If you're interested in me just like vlogging every park, just like a normal vlogger, like let me know. Like I wouldn't be against doing that necessarily, but like if that's what you're into, like let me know and I'll do that too. I'm definitely going to make as much content out of this trip and hopefully feed you guys pretty well throughout the summer with lots of fun theme park trip content, lots of updates to my credit count. I'm sure my top 25 is going to be shaken up pretty decently from this road trip, and it's going to be a great time. I'll post updates as well on the YouTube channel and on my Instagram as we go through, so you can kind of follow me as we go along. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, thank you for taking this lower production quality. I think it's fun to just have this out there so you guys can kind of get excited about the road trip, and it'll be cool. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. I'll keep working on future videos and have a lot of fun stuff coming up for the channel, so see you later.